Thank you so much. A special good morning to all of you. Thank you once again for always being fervent listeners of Apex One Radio. And for those of you who love to watch us on our respective social media platforms, we want to say thank you for always choosing Apex One Radio. We are live from the United States of America, precisely from the old city of Columbus, which is the chief city of the state of Ohio. We are in the United States of America. It's Saturday, February the 8th, 2025. And at exactly 12 minutes past 11 here in the studio of the station, it's time for us to kick off with this first segment of broadcast on Apex One Radio, which begins naturally with a fresh edition of Apex Snapshots Sports version. Today, we're talking soccer. We will be focusing on one of the biggest story when it comes to community football, which has of course gone nationwide. We're talking about veterans football, and if you hail from Cameroon, you should understand exactly what we're talking about. And when you see these two gentlemen here with me in the studio, then there is serious business in there. Once again, thank you so much and welcome to this first segment of broadcast on Apex One Radio. It is Apex Snapshots, which is about to kick off. Without much ado, I'll just go ahead and say welcome to my studio guests. Then you'll get to know who they are, and of course, the conversation will flow from there. To my extreme right is the president of Columbus Veterans Soccer Club. Valentine Forcher got elected to pilot the affairs of Columbus veterans for the next 2 years. That election happened just a couple of weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken, but then he's here to confirm it. Welcome to the program, Mr. President. How are you doing today?
Thank you. Can't complain.
Come close to your microphone. So how is everything?
Doing good. Family good. Columbus good.
Great. About the working week, was it a tedious one for you?
As always, getting prepared for both tournaments coming up this year. It's a challenge, but we continue to work and making progress every day.
There is work in progress. It's a big challenge. Columbus will be hosting two major soccer tournaments in 2025. We'll be talking about that shortly. And that is the president of the Columbus Veterans. Next to me is Dr. Enel Richard. He is the public relations officer of the Columbus Veterans Soccer Club. Dr. Enel, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
No, good. Thank you so much.
It's been a while.
I know it's been a while, but I'm glad to see that everything is going on right.
And just for a quick reminder, he's one of the earliest voices on Apex One Radio. When we created the station in 2015, he was one of my first guests.
I quite remember, man.
That's 10 years ago.
Yeah, I can remember. Yeah.
We've come a long way.
Yeah, thank you.
So how was your working week?
So far, so good. You know, just working hard to make sure we host these two events. Yeah.
Right. So I do understand that veterans football, as the name implies, has to do with professional footballers who played football in the past. Then they're coming back to revive those good old-time memories after retirement. But it's gone beyond that. And I know veterans clubs have people who never played football as such, but they are part of it. But I'd like to know from the two of you, did you ever play football, Valentine?
Well, no, I did play football again, being a Cameroonian who did not play soccer. So I played football. I did represent Cottbus University doing my bachelor's in Germany. So I was part of that university team. All black, all Cameroonian. So we've always been proud wherever we find ourselves when it comes to soccer.
Okay, that's interesting. Thank you so much. We'll be back with you shortly. This is Apex One Radio. We are live from the United States of America. Thank you if you are just joining us on ApexOneRadio.com. Welcome to this edition of Apex Snapshots on Apex One Radio. Today we're doing the sports version of the show. And so for those of you who are joining us on social media, please, it's Apex One Radio, the official page, www.apex1radio.com, www.apex1radio.com. We are also broadcasting on the Apex One Radio YouTube channel. And so if you get on Facebook, you may want to share the video extensively, because we're going to be discussing one very important community assignment, especially for those of you who live in Ohio, and precisely the chief city, Columbus. So this year, the veterans of Columbus will be hosting two major tournaments. We're talking about the National Veterans Tournament and the Midwest Veterans Tournament. And it's no longer news. We've talked about that severally. But then, as time draws near, we need to throw more light on it. And so, sports go beyond physical exercise. There are one of the greatest unifying forces. We're talking about sports. Human interaction within sports is immense, and a soccer club, for instance, becomes more than just a team. It evolves into a hub for learning, mutual support, and community building. And so for years now, the Columbus Veterans Social Club, or Soccer Club, has not only kept the beloved game of soccer alive among former professionals and passionate enthusiasts, but has also played a significant role in strengthening the community. What began as a small group of soccer lovers has grown into a formidable organization of committed veterans members. Today, over 70 Cameroonian men proudly represent the Columbus Veterans Soccer Club as the city's very own soccer veterans. The Columbus veterans, affectionately known as the Vetos, have become a household name, leaving a lasting impact on their community. Their impressive track record will further solidify this year as Columbus hosts two major veterans tournaments. That is the Midwest Tournament and the National Veterans Tournament. A busy 2025 for Columbus veterans, isn't it? Now, on the show today, we welcome some key leaders of the Columbus Veterans Soccer Club to discuss upcoming events with a special focus on the Midwest Veterans Tournament, which is very close. It's going to happen in May this year, precisely on May the 23rd, and it will run through May the 25th this year. Once again, thank you so much. Welcome to this edition of Apex Snapshots Sports Version. Right, so let me go back to the guests in the studio. We have the president of Columbus Veterans, Forcha Valentine, and the public relations officer, Dr. Eno Richard. Mr. President, when did the Veterans of Columbus go underway? When was it created?
So thank you. The Columbus Veterans Soccer Club, which is a not-profit organization, was formed by a group of gentlemen in 2018, bound by mutual love for unity, solidarity, peace, and harmony. These individuals on that day in 2018 came up, voluntarily constitute themselves into a non-profit, a non-partisan, non-governmental organization with some objectives, that include operating exclusively for health, soccer, peace, and also community contributions like charitable purposes. They also come together to be able to provide services and also to provide benefits and advantages to their community coming from voluntary contributions and the work that we do. And also, it comes to promote a sense of love, unity, and to bring trustworthy relationship among its members. So that's what we do. we also engage with different organizations around the community and globally for a common purpose, saving our community. So
beautiful. Dr. Eno Richard, how long have you been member of the Columbus Veterans, and what was your motivation when you were joining this club?
I can vehemently say I was like one of the founding members.
Okay.
I joined the Veterans of Columbus, Ohio in 2018. And just like the president said, the motivation is that brotherhood coming together for a common purpose and a common goal. You know, where we find ourselves is very challenging, right? You got to find something to distract yourself. So soccer is something that we find joy in doing as a community. So that's how I ended up joining the Veterans of Columbus, Ohio.
Valentine, you started as a member of the Veterans of Columbus before rising to the position of president of that very big organization today. Tell us, what motivated you to join the Veterans, and how old have you been in the club?
So like Dr. Eno Richard said, I'm one of the founding members of Columbus Veterans. So I've always been a believer of community service, serve a lot of different groups, and also have been one of the backbone when it comes to Columbus Veterans. Before rising to be the president of Columbus Veterans, I have acted as advisor to former presidents, and also have been the treasurer for this group for the past 4 years before becoming the current president. So pretty much I've been part of the main backbone with structuring this group and getting us to where we've been.
Wow, that's interesting. And in my editorial, I mentioned that the Columbus Veterans is over 70 Cameroonian men who proudly represent that structure. Am I correct with those figures? Otherwise, what is the current membership strength of your organization?
So currently, Columbus Veterans members, we cap at 75 members, except in special situations. Where a new member comes with special talent. This is determined by the executive. So the executive have to determine this talent and also to approve this talent, and bring it to the General Assembly for approval.
But let me get something straight, Dr. Eno Richard, because he's mentioning talent. I'm thinking about men who can kick the ball, who can dribble. Do you only have soccer players as members of Columbus Veterans, or I can become a member even if I never played football?
No, so one of the criteria is you must love soccer, right? So, and for you to belong to a veteran football club, you have to be above 35. So we definitely need people that are matured enough, because you go there, not only soccer, we talk about other issues, like what the president was saying, that we don't only focus on soccer. We carry out other community projects. But to be one of the members, you must be a soccer lover, and you must be 35 and above, unless on exceptional circumstances that the executive can sit and say, hey, this guy has met all the criteria except this, and then they will approve if need be.
Then once you've become a member, you have to be committed.
Once you become a member, you have to be committed, because we have a laundry list of activities that we carry out throughout the year. Like this year, of course, as everybody knows, we are hosting two huge events, the Midwest Tournament and the National Veteran Tournament. Those are huge events. Those two events alone will bring nothing less than 20,000 people in the city of Columbus. So that tells you exactly the magnitude and the commitment that each member is expected to have to get.
Right, and to buttress that, president, commitment does not only mean financial obligation, it also means coming to do the work. Like if we have to go clean up or set up stands and so on, everyone has to put hands on deck.
Correct. Columbus Veteran is not just about soccer. We involve a lot in community activities.
Right.
Like food banks, food pantries. We show up, we get the job done. So the biggest part, besides us being giving back to the community, each year we have like a family day event for the kids, the women. So we are part of the community, and part of our goal is, besides soccer, engaging in our community to make a difference.
That's interesting. You're listening to Apex Snapshots, the edition of February the 8th, 2025. And we're receiving the Columbus veterans in the studio today, represented by the President, Valentine Forcha, and of course, the Public Relations Officer, Dr. Eno Richards. Special good morning to President Emeritus Armand Kenyon, the first president of Columbus veterans. I'm also thinking of Evaristus Finjap, aka Capo, second president of Columbus Veterans, and of course Romeo Achale, president number 3. Today we have president number 4 right here in the studio of Apex One Radio. 27 minutes past 11 here in the studio. So, how many teams can you carve out from 75 members? I do understand you don't just have one team. You should have more than one.
Yeah,
because there's always a backup. So how many teams do you have?
Because of the kind of event that we participate in, I can tell you that the veterans of Columbus, Ohio, can comfortably produce 3 soccer teams.
Okay.
You know, you have team A, B, and C. In circumstances where you have somebody that cannot participate in the initial team, team A, for instance, then we have the ability to bring somebody from the other team and, to.
When you use the word comfortably, it means if you set aside team A, team B can actually be fielded and they will produce the same performance.
Yeah, because remember, we have people above 35, right? Yes. People don't expect us to play as international players.
Of course.
So the goal of this soccer group is just for fun, beside the competitive nature of the competition itself. But a lot of people come there to have fun. Yes, so yes, we have people that are willing, and even in their 45s or 50s, they are also willing to play.
And just to add to that, we each year have the President's Cup, which pretty much is divided. The group divides into 2 separate teams, and we play about 4 games to come with which team again wins the tournament. So that's how we among ourselves challenges each other.
Right. So what are the criteria for the selection of players?
Okay, again, it's very clear. The law says you have to be 35 and above. Okay. And you have to be a soccer lover.
Okay.
And then, of course, we have coaches, right? Because the coaching department, they sit down, say, depending on what tournament we're going to perform or participate in. And then they are the ones that make those selections. And again, they start from in-house. Again, we have enough players that 70 members, we have enough players that we can always participate in any tournament, no matter what. So yeah, so the coaching staff, we have one of the best, because if you look at our track record from Atlanta to Maryland to Minnesota, we've gone nothing less than like semifinals, quarterfinals, and stuff. So.
But we also understand that there are truly some players who had played professional soccer within the veterans movement generally, not just Columbus. Do you have some of such players?
Oh yeah,
in Columbus?
Okay. We've dealt with players like Rajemba, Jean de Macon, and just a few of them, because those are soccer lovers. Those are people that if you call them today, they're in Cameroon, they're in Europe, you say, hey, we have a tournament. Can you guys show up and support? Okay. They're just coming to support the idea and support what the national veterans, that idea of soccer, friendship, brotherhood, So, and in the nearest future, our goal is to bring as many veteran professional players as possible.
Okay. Right. So I know over the years it was only the veterans doing soccer, but as time has gone on, we've seen other clubs emerge. We've seen other competitions. There are different communities that organize different competitions. So at this point, where do you fit yourselves? Does your group or your club take part in some of the local competitions we have around?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
I remember when Columbus Veterans Soccer Club was formed in 2018,
Mm-hmm.
we had just the Lions of Columbus as our main soccer club in the city. Today, we're blessed to have teams like the BAMOK, you have the Northside Boys, you have the Rangers, all teams that we together participate in local tournament. We play a lot of friendly games with most of these teams as part of a way to prepare ourselves for both the Midwest Veteran Tournament and also the National Veteran Tournament. So we've seen a significant increase in the number of soccer teams, which is a blessing to our community as we continue to grow.
Like Anna said, is like uh, you know fun soccer, but we've also seen how serious you've become, especially at the National Veterans Tournament. We see like real football. I mean, we observe some skillful football being performed, which means that you're still very serious, as far as the game itself is concerned. How would you rate the performance of Columbus Veterans?
Um, Over the year, we've seen significant success as we move, moving from the time of President Armand that you mentioned, President Capo, President Romeo. We've made great stride. And I remember when we went to Oklahoma, we barely had 11 people to make it to the first round. But today, with respect to the Midwest and the National Veteran Tournament, we consider one of the best teams, and we look forward to pretty much make it to the finalists for both the Mid National Veteran Tournament this year.
Let me go back to Dr. Enna and find out about how you recruit your coaches. Do they come from the club, or you are allowed to hire coaches from elsewhere?
No, our constitution says that the coach is supposed to be one of the veteran members.
Okay.
So all our coaches are from the club. And again, of course, nobody has like a specialty to be a coach. So every single veteran member, we're 70 of us, we all have a variety of ideas, right? In every game, everybody wants to be a coach. But there's that central person that has a whole team behind him that they make the final decisions. And so far, our coaches have never let us down.
So we just to add to that, we actually have the team manager who's in charge of our sporting department. He is the one that selects the coaches, and it's his entire team,
Right?
And that gets through the president for approval and also the General Assembly to approve. So that's how the process works with selecting our coaches. But we have a lot of former soccer players and excellent coaches, and we're pretty much proud of that and count on them.
Every football club has that memorable moment. Even if it happened 30, 40 years ago, they will still say that a 2-0 win against this club was a major breakthrough, or was a major record. Do you have some of those records you can share with us? What are some of the memorable results you've had so far?
That's a good question, Mr. Kanjo. And like I said, Columbus Veterans, we've made great stride as the years go by. Talking again about Oklahoma, when we barely had 11 members to start, moving up to Maryland, where we made it up to the semifinals, and also in Atlanta, we made it to the finals, and Minnesota to the quarterfinals. One of the game, I remember the finals in Atlanta.
Okay.
That's a game that I think all of us as Columbus veterans, that was our first finals, and losing one down was something that I could see our wives, our kids, some of us crying, and that's a memorable That's a memorable time in our history that will goes down to record.
That's beautiful. You're listening to Apex Snapshots on Apex One Radio. The show is Apex Snapshots. It is the sports version, and today we are receiving the Columbus veterans. It is, of course, the host site for the 2025 Midwest Veterans Tournament, which will take place from May the 23rd to May the 25th this year. Then there is an upcoming major soccer tournament called the National Veterans Tournament, which comes up in August of this year. We'll be talking about that as well in this edition of Snapshots, just on Apex One Radio, with producer Maxwell Adjunant, of course, the host Ernest Kanjo, Dr. Eno Richard, and Valentine Forcha are our guests on the show today. So, gentlemen, I would like us to talk about these two major tournaments that are coming up. We'll talk briefly about the NVT, but I would like us to focus more on the MWVT because it is quite close. And I know a couple of you have said off mic that you want to use the MWVT as a foretaste for the bigger competition, or as a measuring rod for the bigger competition. But first, let us talk about the NVT. I'd like to have you explain what the National Veterans Tournament means, especially for those of our listeners who are coming across this for the first time. So, what is the National Veterans Tournament all about?
Thank you. The National Veterans Tournament, the NVT, is a non-profit organization. It consists of 43 clubs from all across the United States and Canada, with 2,000 plus members. This tournament is considered the largest Cameroonian annual sport tournament in the United States, and it brings together about more than 10,000 participants and guests from across the globe. So
that's quite big. And how long has Columbus been taking part in the NVT?
We've been participating in an NVT since 2018 in Oklahoma.
Okay.
And as I mentioned earlier, participation in the National Veteran Tournament is mandatory. So being a member of Columbus Veteran Tournament, you are mandated to not only contribute, but to participate annually for this event. So it's the major event for all veteran teams in the United States and Canada.
Wow, that's interesting. Dr. Eno, let me find out from you. You've been attending the NVT since 2018, like you mentioned. What picture can you paint of that tournament? Just how big it is. Explain the ambience.
Yeah, I will tell you that when we joined the National Veterans in 2018, and you see the person was talking about Oklahoma. Oklahoma was a teaser for us. We went there, and being like our first main event, we did not know what to expect, right? Initially, we could not even come up with 11 players. But we saw the way other teams participated, how they took it seriously. And man, when we came back, things changed. Because by the time we went to our first game, MVT, we're less than 30 members. So that is how over the years we've grown, and you can see our track record from Oklahoma not being able to even play the first 3 games to Atlanta, Minnesota, where we ended up to the quarterfinals, semifinals. And I'm telling you, as we're coming to Columbus, Ohio, that cup is not going to leave this place. that is how serious it is.
That's interesting. Yeah. That cup is not going to be taken away from Columbus, as the city hosts the 2025 edition of the NVT. It takes place in August of this year. It is not just a football festival. It is it's more than that. It virtually resembles an economic or a trade fair. Yep. Well, Columbus will be hosting it this year. Let me go back to the president. This is huge, and we do understand that whenever whoever is hosting, the NVT, every eye is on them. So focus will be Columbus this year. Tell me, each day as we look forward, or as we draw nearer to the NVT, can you describe what happens in your mind? I do understand this is a huge responsibility. How solid are you to bear this weight?
Thank you, Mr. Kanjo. Again, like you just mentioned, hosting the Midwest and the NVT, it's a big challenge for the Columbus Veteran Soccer Club, and this means a lot, not just to the Columbus veterans, but to the Columbus community and Ohio in general. We've tried for the past 3 years to host this event, and we were blessed to win the bid for 2025. It's a privilege, and we really appreciate it. We don't sleep. We're at work day and night having meetings. We promise in the Midwest and we promise in the NVT we will be ready. Comes both events. So my team is set. My committees are working. We're talking every day. We are committed. We will give them the best of the best as they visit the big state, the Buckeye State of Ohio. So we're waiting. We're prepared. I want to assure them all they will have a good time, not just playing soccer, enjoy the nightlife in Ohio.
Well, not just playing soccer, but enjoying the nightlife in Ohio. It was just a couple of months ago that Columbus won the bid to host the 2025 edition of the NVT. Incidentally, that bid was won during, a bidders event with the members of the Columbus veterans seated right here in the studio of Apex One Radio. It was exciting. But tell me, I know over the years Columbus had been struggling to host this. Were you optimistic that you were going to win that bid this year?
Absolutely. Thanks to our former President Romeo, our former SJ, Dr. Phil, and a couple of others that put that together. We always sitting at home and listening. It was a great joy when we got that result. And again, we have been waiting. We have been fighting. And we were very committed and sure that 2025 will be our own. So I know it happened all year thanks to Apex One. We continue to thank you. And again, it's our time, it's our year. We're going to make it happen.
We wouldn't go back to what Columbus put in its package to be able to win the bid. But I'll just ask the PRO, why do you think Columbus had to have it this time?
Just to tell you how serious these bids are. For the first year, we did not win. The second year, we did not. But this time around, every time we put a bid and we don't win, we go back to the drawing board and say, okay, what can we do to improve our opportunities to be able to win the bid? So it took a lot. It took a lot of work, as the president said, that Emeritus Romeo and the team, he had a powerful team up and met yearly when we travel on hotel alone. That's hotel alone.
So Joseph, Mr. SJ, just 1 more minute on your to the Columbus crew, please.
Thank you very much. And as I thank you.
Taking 7 minutes already.
Yeah. From our club, like when we went to Minnesota, we had people that came from England, we had people that came from Germany, just because of that game. Yearly when we travel on hotel alone. That's hotel alone.
So Joseph, Mr. SJ, just 1 more minute on your to the Columbus crew, please.
Thank you very much. And as I was able to meet all the requirements, and for sure we won the bid.
And of course, Columbus won the bid to host the National Veterans Tournament for 2025. Over 10,000 people are expected in the city in August of this year for what has been described as the biggest and much awaited Cameroonian come together in the Cameroonian diaspora, not only the United States of America. And so the clubs will come from far and wide. They will converge on Columbus to treat the Columbus public to 3 to 4 days of, beautiful scenarios. So if you live in the state of Ohio or in the neighboring states, this is your golden opportunity to drive to Columbus, to fly to Columbus and witness this magnificent football fiesta that will be put up by Columbus, the Columbus veterans in collaboration with the national body, of course. And so this is Apex Snapshots on Apex One Radio. We are broadcasting live from the United States of America. I'd like us to narrow it down to the MWVT, which is going to be your measuring rod ahead of the NVT. But first, what is the Midwest Veterans Tournament all about?
Okay, I can say, so remember the National Veteran is once a year.
Yes.
So, and the people came back and said, okay, what can we do to be able to, have fun? Because these are soccer lovers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they came out with this idea of the Midwest tournament,
mm-hmm.
which is mostly teams in the western part.
Because going for a whole year.
Yeah, wait for a whole year. Yeah. So, and again, just as you're seeing, the Midwest started with a few teams. And right now, as we speak, there are close to about 12 or so teams and counting. Yeah. And you have teams like from Chicago, you have Iowa, you have Minnesota, just to name a few. Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting. And so, like you said, we'll be having like a dozen teams coming to that competition. So what does it entail to host this competition? Many people. What do you need to host this competition successfully?
Yeah, it just the Midwest is like a junior brother to the national MVT. So whatever you're doing for the national, you have to do for the Midwest. Like getting the right nightlife, getting the right soccer field, putting the right logistics in place. So that's why we're using the Midwest as a measuring rod.
So the same items will put in the package.
The same items, because it's a huge competition.
Okay.
Given the fact that there are not as many teams. But guess what? It's still another soccer tournament, and anybody that belongs to that competition, they want to win. So it is just as competitive.
Okay.
Yes.
So if I understand this so well, it means there should be maybe a Southern American.
Yeah. Other people have their own soccer.
Right now, you see a lot of different veterans based on location and region coming up with this ideas of having this mid tournament before the NVT, just as a preparatory stage for the teams. And also, I remember we used to travel right up to Maryland for friendly games. So we play a lot of games both locally and travel out of state to play, just to keep ourselves fit and stay healthy while we look forward to the big event, which is the NVT.
All right. So we have local competitions, regional competitions there, and there is a competition at the national level, which is the NVT. So Columbus will be hosting this year's edition of the Midwest Veterans Tournament. I know you said a while ago that you are currently preparing, but I would like you to go a little bit deeper. When you say preparations are ongoing, what do you mean? What are you doing concretely?
Thank you, Mr. Kanjo. Again, with respect to the Midwest, I think we're pretty much good. The fields are set. The hotel committee working with providing those informations to the various teams on how to reserve the hotel, the nightlife. You got True Entertainment Center ready for the Midwest. So we have things in place set. The committees are working diligently to make sure that
executive that will be moving this group to the next level. I standing here as the next president of Columbus veterans.
So we know what it takes, especially when it comes to the NVD, and we are prepared for that. Everything is on deck. We're actually working, like I said earlier, day and night to make sure Columbus give the national veteran and the Midwest the best of the best, not just in soccer, but also nightlife. I know there's a lot of concerns when it comes to nightlife with our previous tournaments.
Yeah.
So we promised them this year, Columbus veterans will give it the all. That's part of a big plan.
Dr. Eno, nightlife has been mentioned. Every time I've talked about this, the idea of nightlife is always coming up. What is it about this nightlife thing? Could you throw more light on, on that?
You know, Cameroonians would want to have fun, right? So we had a couple of places that we went to. Let me see. I think we went to, I had an event in Boston.
Okay.
Yeah, nightlife by 12 a.m., 1 o'clock is done. I know Cameroonians, 12-1 is when they want to start enjoying themselves.
Of course. That's when the show begins.
Yeah. And if you have these tournaments where people drive from different states, they want to have fun within those couple of days.
Right.
So Columbus is prepared to give them fun, and we are prepared to make sure we stay even as long as probably 6 a.m. And that is something that has never been done in any of the tournaments that we've actually attended. So that's why Columbus is promising a lot of good, fun-filled nightlife. This is something that most of the people that will be coming have never had the opportunity to do that.
I'll stay with you if you don't mind to find out about the impediments you've had so far with preparations. I know the president said you're getting prepared, but I do understand every human society, there's no perfection, so it's not all rosy. So what are some of the challenges you're having as far as preparing for this event?
Both events entails a lot of manpower, right? And you can see that we're only 75 of us. That may not be enough, but what the president and the team they did is they divided into different committees, and they have like a general a body that oversees all the committees. And sometimes it is very challenging. And a clear example, like right now, we're talking about the fields. It took them months to be able to secure the field. Remember, you're hosting for the Midwest about 12 to 14 teams.
Right.
And for the national MVT, it's about 40 to 43 or 50 teams. And you need to have enough soccer fields to be able to contain those many. So it's been challenging, but finally, we've been able to find or resolve those issues. And just like any other project like this, it is difficult. It's ongoing. You may prepare, and sometimes you get a call that, hey, what you reserve, like for instance, you have a meeting with the people, with the lodging committee, and then they're like, oh, the hotels are not ready, or something like that. So, but we're always ready for any unforeseen circumstances. So, yeah, there are a lot of issues that are ongoing, but so far, I feel like we have a good grasp on them.
Special good morning to Dr. Phil, who was head of the committee that led the Columbus bid that won the 2025 edition of the NVT. I'm also thinking of Rex Bungen, who is one of the founding members of the Veterans of Columbus and very influential as well. This is Apex Snapshots on Apex One Radio. Valentine, tell me, I do understand that this is semi-professional soccer, not fully professional soccer, but then there are still some aspects which have to meet the standards, especially the football fields. How adaptable are the fields you have here in Columbus for such tournaments?
So pretty much,
come close to your mic.
Pretty much, we're paying special attention when it comes to the fields, and that's part of the reasons that we're not just going around to pick whatever is available to host. And the standards, the NVD have standards, and they will be here in March, come next month, to inspect what we are doing, to inspect the fields and to make sure they meet standards. So there are certain standards that the NVD put in place that you have to be able to host the tournament.
And one of the things which such inspection takes seriously is security. Dr. Richard, is it in place?
Yeah, security is in place, and again, our goal is to make sure people come here, have fun with no incidences. So yes, so we have a whole committee in charge of security for both events, and they have enough manpower to be able to manage security for all the 4 days for the national MVT and the 3 days for the Midwest tournament.
And one of your committees has to do with cleaning. How important is cleaning, and what do we mean by cleaning when you create a whole committee just for that?
So let me tell you something. When you are hosting 10,000 people, can you imagine 10,000 bottles of water being littered around the field and stuff? So every single committee in this NVT or Midwest tournament is very, very crucial and essential to the success of this tournament, because the cleaning crew or the cleaning committee, their job is to make sure there is nothing. When every single game, everything is supposed to be clean, ready for the next game, and just like that. And of course, we'll have like a central area which is called like the MVT village. We also have to make sure we keep it clean, because people eat and then put stuff on the floor. But we have a team ready. Like what we saw in Minnesota, it was very, very encouraging. They had people in every single soccer field. While the games were ongoing, people were cleaning. People were cleaning. So yeah, so our goal is to make sure we give them the best, and hosting those many people entails that there's a whole team behind it to make sure everything goes on successfully.
I saw videos of Minnesota, and there were stands. So tell us about that. Do you have allocation for people to come and display their stuff? Could be fashion, it could be anything,
So right now, what we have and what we're working with, we're looking forward to a village, just like what we had in Minnesota, being able to provide that to the National Veteran Tournament coming. So we're talking, also contacting companies that build stage. So all that the committees involved.
Guys, yes. Let me just say this. Oh, President, it's you. Sorry. Go ahead, President.
Yes, let's go ahead and continue with Gampo. Will take that under advisement. But as far as I'm concerned, Boston has that facility as of now. So whatever happens later, we can. That's why there's a runner out. Go ahead.
Yes, and also.
Quite a busy year for the veterans of Columbus to host two major soccer tournaments. It's not biscuit, it's not chocolate.
Right.
And the second one, which comes up in August, is going to accommodate over 10,000 people who will spend some days in Columbus. It is a huge responsibility for the Columbus veterans. And of course, we're hoping that all will go well. Let us talk about sponsorship. I remember I was talking with the president a couple of days ago. I said, but this is so huge and you just cannot run this from your own finances. You know, you need sponsors for such tournaments. So tell us about sponsorship and partnerships. Do you have that in place?
Thank you. Again, like I mentioned earlier, we have committees put together in different areas, and there's a sponsor committee headed by Mr. Dennis Gong, and also we blessed to have someone like Mr. Lizzie, Ike, just to name a few in that committee. Smart business mind people that are working diligently to put things together and make sure they find the right sponsors that can help make sure we have a better event.
And just to add on that, our goal is to partner with because we've sent out like sponsorship letters to Coca-Cola, Pepsi, and we actually reached out to Remy Martin the main brand for 1738, which is what is being consumed in most of these events. And we're telling them that, hey, we'll use about 1,000 bottles of their product, right? So that is the kind of partnership that we want to get and try to make sure. And we're still open to more partners to be able to do stuff like this.
That's interesting. So, what should people in the Midwest be expecting when they come to Columbus from May the 23rd?
So that's definitely going to be one of the early events that we get into the spring and summertime. And again, there's a lot in Columbus. There's nightlife, the entertainment committee. It's working diligently, and we'll be sharing things in Columbus that you can, like I said, it's not just about soccer. Families come here with kids. They want to see things, go for sightseeing together. So we will be providing those. The hotels, again, the lodging committee, it's working on that. Midwest, the fields are ready. The hotels will be ready. The nightlife will be ready. We are ready for Midwest.
That's interesting. And do you have an idea of when maybe the fixtures will be out, so we know which team is playing against which one and things like that?
So with respect to Midwest, the fixtures should be out. The last date for the last team to register, which we gave an extension, was yesterday, Friday. So Mr. Gino and his team will be working. By the end of this week, I believe they should be having that. Because right now we know all the teams that are participating. So he's in charge of that and will be providing that to us sooner than later.
Dr. Enoch, could you just describe the organization at the regional level? I know Columbus is hosting, but you have the regional body that is also helping to organize. So do you have like websites, or do you have forums where you communicate, within the region?
Yeah, I'm going to take that because I'm highly involved in that part of it. We have the Midwest Advisory Board, which actually involves all the presidents of the Midwest and also one member of the group, be it the TMO, whoever they choose to. We also have the Midwest Vet WhatsApp group, where any member belonging to any of the Midwest veterans can.
So I want to call on no other person but the 10-time Ballon d'Or. You never heard that, right? 10-time Ballon d'Or in this United States of America. And that's
Ohio, Mr. Frank Abange. So that's how that is structured. So there's an executive, there's an advisory board, and there's a WhatsApp fund group for all the members.
Right. So if I get you well, the competition starts on May the 23rd. So when do delegations start arriving in Columbus?
We're looking at most of the teams. Since it's locally, I expect most of the teams to be driving. Most teams will be here Friday mornings. Those that comes on Thursday morning, again, this information for hotel reservations. We're working closely, again, still working behind the scenes with the executive and also the advisory board. And if they're coming on that Thursday morning, they're going to be kind of a welcome. So all that is still in works, but yes, we expect most of the teams to be here by Friday morning, the 23rd.
As you're talking about logistics, what do you plan still about how do you plan to welcome the teams? And Columbus will be hosting this competition for the first time. You did confirm that. What is it that you're planning to do differently, right? What are the innovations? So what is it that Columbus is going to put on stage which has not happened in the previous competitions?
I think for the Midwest, which, as everybody comes on Friday, we are planning to have like a barbecue session, right, to welcome all our guests, and then the actual games will start on Saturday, and then we'll have an event in the evening, and of course we have our beautiful Trio Entertainment Center there ready for that event, and then I think on Sunday there's going to be another event like trophy and stuff. So we are ready, and what we're going to do a little bit differently is to make sure we give them the best, right? Remember, this is in preparation of the national MVT, and what the president said is we have committees in place that are working tirelessly to make sure this goes on without any issue.
Okay. That's interesting. We're looking forward to that. And so it's going to happen this year, May the 23rd to May the 25th for the Midwest Veterans Tournament. Columbus is hosting for the first time. A dozen clubs will be taking part in the competition. There will be football, there will be nightlife, there will be other things as well. And so all roads will lead to Columbus. And like he mentioned, it's a driving distance for most of most of the teams around this region. So it's going to be fascinating. We're looking forward to that. Hopefully the city will be out to welcome these guests. It's the first experience. You've never had this before, so should we just say it's going to be quite experimental? Because we don't know. It's just a first experience. How do you plan to face this first challenge?
Like I mentioned earlier, the Midwest Veteran Tournament is going to be kind of a test on how we're going to perform at the National Veteran Tournament level. We've participated. This is the third edition of the Midwest.
Right.
So we had it in Minnesota. We had it in Chicago. Columbus is ready to take it to the next height. And again, we appreciate people like President Ayok, who was the president of the Midwest. People like President Emeritus Kapoor and Big Rex. You just mentioned some of those names earlier, who made sure to put this Midwest together. So we are ready. We've been to Midwest tournaments, and we're planning to make it a different, give it a different face come Columbus 2025.
Dr. Eno, I would like you to talk about I know the group also runs a media committee. So
Right.
How do you plan to provide media coverage for these events that are coming?
No, thank you so much. I can say we have a beautiful committee that is already doing a lot of work. I'm sure if people look at our social media handles, from Facebook to Instagram to WhatsApp, the committee already has like videos and short videos already going, and they already have flyers going. And thanks to Apex One radio station that we've partnered with you, and you've been an asset. And we really appreciate what you're doing.
Guys, yes. Let me just say this. Oh, President, it's you. Sorry. Go ahead, President.
Yes, let's go ahead and continue with Gambo. Will take that under advisement. But as far as I'm concerned, Boston has that facility as of now. So whatever happens later, we can. That's why there's a runner up. JB, go ahead.
Yes, and also, guys.
More videos coming out. So yeah.
Okay.
I still see a lot of them here today, and everybody is fine. That is the spirit.
Handle, so people can, those who are not following you yet can start doing so. So on Facebook, you are on Facebook, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that should be Columbus.
It will be the Columbus Veterans FC, or that is our social media handle on Facebook.
Columbus Veterans FC.
Yeah,
on Facebook.
And it's same on Facebook and Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, on Instagram is Columbus Veterans FC as well.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So far, and then every other thing goes through WhatsApp and stuff.
Okay, that is interesting. We'll be right back with you in this edition of Apex Snapshot.
Executive that will be moving this group to the next level. I stand here as the next president of Columbus Veterans. The person that's going to be sitting in my absence, it's going to be no one but my Honorable Vice President, in the name of Dr. Philbert Atabo. Next on the list is my Honorable TM. can we have soccer is the number one when it comes to veterans. And I have my honorable TM in the house, Mr. Amingo.
Okay, we're about to run off this edition of Apex Snapshots on Apex One Radio. We were just watching excerpts of the inauguration of the new executive for the Columbus Veterans Ain. If you notice, the speaker is the speaker in that video. That was the president of the Columbus Veterans. And I use this opportunity to ask you, Valentine, this is a huge responsibility. How prepared are you to vehicle this this project in the next 2 years?
Thank you. That's a great question, Mr. Kenjo. And becoming a president for Columbus Veteran Tournament was not a light decision making. Like I mentioned earlier, I had worked very closely with all the former presidents, including President Amang, President Kapoor, and President Romeo. Have been one of the only members that have been in Columbus Veteran Executive from day one. And I know what it takes, being a president in a group of 75 members, again, being a good listener, making sure all my members feel they're part of this prestigious organization, and giving people the reason to belong, and giving my members to sit and ask themselves not just what the Columbus veterans have done for them, but what they can do, especially for 2025, to take this group to a different height.
Dr. Enna Richard, you have the huge responsibility to market the brand of this very huge organization. Right. Tell us how you plan to do this in the next 2 years.
So, as the public relation officers for this group, I've been the public relation officer for the past 2 years. And for this year, we're going to do something that is exceptional, given the fact that we will be hosting the Midwest tournament and the National MVT tournament. So, I have a whole team that will work with. And during the year, we try to organize other events. Like we have a family day that we do. To be able to bring all the families and children. We'll have games that we'll have them participate in. We also volunteer in other events, because remember, we're a 501c. We're a 501c, so we volunteer in the food bank, homeless shelters, just so that we can put our names out there. Remember, it's not like an African stuff. No, we do other stuff so that when people see, you see what we're wearing, this is our logo. Right. So when they see us, they're like, oh, I've had people come to me and say, oh, what do you guys really do? And that's how you put the name out there and get noticed. And I'm telling you, after these 2 tournaments, a lot of people will really know who the Columbus veterans are.
Beautiful. So we're about to run off this edition of Apex Snapshots on Apex One Radio. We've negotiated our last band on this show. So I'd like us to come back to some practical information. The Midwest tournament, which starts in May. Right. Where will it be taking place? Should we have some, let's just have some locations, address, contacts, and things like that. So let's begin with the locations.
Correct. So the Midwest will be hosted at Sunbury Road. So most of the teams already have that address. It's Sunbury Road, very close to one of our biggest mall in Columbus, Ohio, giving people that opportunity to see what it takes shopping in Columbus, Ohio.
That's the Eastern Mall, right?
Eastern Mall.
It's the Eastern Mall, yeah.
So that's a location for the Midwest. And the nightlife, again, we keep talking, True Entertainment Center, owned by 3 of our members. That's already set and ready for Midwest.
Special good morning to the management of Trio Entertainment Center. They've been doing a fantastic job in the community since the creation of that project. Okay, and the time period. Sorry about that. This is Apex One Radio. We saw about that technical hitch. The time period. So when do the matches begin? In the morning, afternoon?
No, definitely in the morning.
In the morning.
Because remember, we will play all of those tournaments within a day or two.
Okay.
So Saturday and Sunday. So everything will be played, and I think the semi-finals, right, or the finals will be played on Sunday.
Okay.
So yeah, so it starts in the morning.
Okay.
No, so for the Midwest, we're going to start Friday. It was changed from 2 days to 3 days.
So it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
So it's gonna be Friday, Saturday, and we'll definitely be having the semi-finals and the finals on Sunday.
On Sunday, okay.
Okay.
As it stands for now, that's the plan.
So Sunday is the last day.
The last day.
The last day for Midwest.
Okay, that's May 2025. Friday should be is it the 23rd?
Yes.
Friday is
Saturday and then Sunday.
Okay, that's interesting. Then night events start at what time? 7, 8?
So usually night event would definitely start because people have to, after the soccer field, go get ready. So 9 o'clock is a start off time for most of the night events.
All right, beautiful. And so from Friday, May the 23rd to Sunday, May the 25th, we'll have the Midwest Veterans Tournament right here in Columbus, Ohio. Well, like the president said, so much water is flowing under the bridge, and there's a lot of preparation going on. Okay, so before we leave, I'd like you to, pay tribute to some either organizations or some people who may be outside your group, but who've contributed to the growth of this group. So are you thinking of anybody who has stood behind the veterans so far?
The Veterans of Columbus.
Yes, of course. Maybe some organizations.
Yeah.
And so on.
Let me just add this, because remember, there are a lot of soccer lovers in Columbus, and we've had to had friendly games with the Lions of Columbus, with the Northside Boys, and just to name a few, I think Rangers too, right? So all of these are young guys that, every time you have any encounter with them, it's very encouraging. They learn from us just as we learn from them. And they make our players better players, because that's how we play friendly games to get.
I still see a lot of them here today, and everybody.
We also have people not only here, because we are also working hand in glove with the national veteran, and we cannot take that lightly. And Minnesota, who they just recently hosted the national veteran tournament, they're also helping us a lot to be able to guide us through the whole process. So we also give them a lot of credit. And I'm sure the person will have some other people that have contributed.
Yeah, thank you. So in terms of Columbus veterans, again, Apex One sitting right there has been one of our backbones.
Yeah.
We have our honorable patron Samir Go. We have our matron, Mafua Akembin. We've been, and a lot of smaller businesses out here, I just named those few, that has been of great contribution to make sure this group continue to survive and continue to make a change in the community that we all live. Special thanks also goes to the National Veteran President, Mr. Valentine Saka. And I talk a lot also to the SJ, Mr. Numbisi. While we see the all talking about the veterans, it's been a difficult end of 2024 for the national veterans and all the veterans in the United States in particular. We have groups like the Houston losing a member, and also Dallas losing a member. We all are really deeply mourning those, especially, and we wish that this year will be a much better year for the national veteran.
Why the rest of you guys pull up? What do you mean? Pull up. Pull up, everybody's here. Pull up. Let's start. Pull up. Pull up, guys. Let's start. You are here already. Pull up. Pull up faster. Let's start. Pull up, guys. Faster. Let's start.
Pull up, guys. We're starting. Where are the jerseys?
7 o'clock. Pull up. Let's start over.
All right, we'll be running off this edition of the show shortly, and it'll be time for us to say bye to our audience and, of course, our studio guests. Don't go away yet. When we come back,
yearly when we travel on hotel alone. That's hotel alone.
I was angry. I still see a lot of them here today, and everybody is fine. That is the spirit. We stay together, we support each other, and we move. And I know we're going to do it again today. We take the cup. We take that cup. Yeah. So that's all I have to say. Thank you again, guys. Thank you. Sherry, you as a captain, you come here to have anything to say on behalf of your players? You can speak in French.
Yeah, good morning, guys. Yeah, I just want to thank everybody for yesterday. So today is another day. It's like that the coach said yesterday, you have to forget about yesterday. You have to start the new days today. We cross our finger about what the coach said. And I know if that happens, you have a lot of people that can help us to go forward to get the trophy. So.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on Apex One Radio today. It was a pleasure having you.
Thank you.
And I wish you all the best. Dr. Eno, thank you so much for joining us on the show today.
Thank you. And thank you to Apex One Radio.
And for those of you out there, thank you so much for your time. We'll be back as time unfolds. So much still has to happen this year. We are going to have many more of such shows with the veterans of Columbus as they look ahead for both competitions. That is the Midwest Veterans Tournament and, of course, the National Veterans Tournament. And until then, it is bye-bye from producer Maxwell Ajit and NS Kanjo. Do have a fantastic rest of the weekend, and may God bless you.
We're good.
Oh.
Thank you, man.
My goodness.